This is the Evil Never Dies podcast with Brett and Carl. This podcast may contain adult themes, violence, and strong language. Listener discretion is advised.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Evil Never Dies podcast. I'm Brett back here with Carl, and
I still think last week's was the worst show we ever did.
the Leprechaun.
Yeah, and it didn't
I
get that
only
many
got like
views.
16 fucking views.
So nobody missed it. I'm glad everybody missed that one. It was terrible.
Yeah, good.
Terrible movie, terrible show. It just wasn't a good mix. I officially say we need to quit doing the holiday movie bullshit as of now.
Yeah, unless it's a good holiday movie.
I don't know. Maybe the Halloweens, that'd be about it.
Yeah, well, shit,
That's
we still got a few of them to do, so.
Yeah. So anyway, we've moved on from Leprechaun in space, and
Yeah, we did.
Brett's pick definitely a classic. The original Exorcist. That's sad that I have to say the original because there's been like what 6 of them damn movies now.
I think so. Yeah, something like that.
This
yeah.
is the original. And it was also Jerry Pauly's favorite movie, so we're gonna send a shout out to our buddy Jerry Pauly for this one.
Well, we were supposed to have him on the show.
We were supposed to have him
when we
on the
did
show to do this. I forgot. That's true.
When he was on the show last time, we
Yeah,
said
he was
when
gonna
we,
come back and do The Exorcist with us. You're right.
so. Yep, this show's dedicated to our buddy Jerry for sure.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, it's sad that the only movie he did with us was that stupid Pet Cemetery movie.
I know. It was still fun though.
Yeah, it was a good show.
So anyway, yes, we're going back to 1973 for The Exorcist,
Which Brett saw in the theater when it came out, I believe.
Yeah, within like the first week and a half.
How the hell old was you?
5, I think. Yeah, I wasn't 6 yet.
Good Lord.
It was 74 by the time I seen it. It was over Christmas break. It came out.
I did an experiment this time because Miss Scarlett was telling me that Derek was showing her some, I think it was Paranormal Activity, because she said there's 6 of them. And I'm like, well, if you're watching that crap, I'm going to let you watch The Exorcist. So I'm going to tell you her experience with that as we go along.
Okay.
I wasn't sure if in 2025, how a kid would view The Exorcist. So it's kind of an interesting experiment. There's really nothing that bad in The Exorcist. There's some bad language, but they hear bad language on YouTube. So
yeah, for sure.
So I don't think the language, I mean, I guess she does a few things, but I don't even think anybody really knew what the hell was going on during some of them scenes.
She probably, when there's no adults around, they probably cuss up a storm, dude. I know Juliet does. She's 6.
Well, we'll see how the experiment went. So
all right. The Exorcist, directed by William Friedkin, screenplay by William Peter Blatty. Say that 10 times really quick.
You know, it's funny because I was doing some research on this, and Jerry and Tracy had done The Exorcist, and she got the biggest kick out of saying William Peter Blatty's name. Tracy thought that was funny.
Oh, I love her.
Yep.
All right. It is based on the novel The Exorcist by William Peter Blatty, produced by William Peter Blatty, cinematography by Owen Roisman, edited by Evan A. Lotman, Norman Gay, and Bud S. Smith, which he also did the makeup effects on the film. Music by Jack Nishi. The score is sort of, if it wasn't for the tubular
If it
bells,
wasn't for the tubular bells, you don't really pay attention to the score. I was
like
noticing that last night.
the opening scene where you hear that it sounds like a screeching violin.
Yeah.
That ain't a violin, dude. That's the composer running his finger on top of a wine glass, making that sound.
Well, the soundtrack is definitely overrated, maybe, but like you said, besides the tubular bells, and that only plays during one sequence of the movie.
Yeah. And yeah, if it wasn't for that, for sure. All right. Production company Hoya Productions, distributed by Warner Brothers in the United States and Columbia Warner Distributors in the United Kingdom. Released on December 26th, 1973. Has a running time of 122 minutes. Is the director's cut, is that longer or
It's like 10 minutes longer, I believe.
okay?
Well, let me look, and I can probably tell you right here on the back of this thing. Yep, 132 versus 122. So
Okay.
it's 10 minutes longer, and I don't really know where the 10 minutes is in it.
I know there's only a couple of scenes.
Yeah, but it's 10 minutes longer. It don't seem like it. I don't know.
All righty. Country of origin, United States, English and Arabic languages. Budget for this film was $12 million. Take a guess at what it brought back at the box
I
office.
I know it made a lot of money. I don't know the exact numbers.
I wonder if this is combined from when they brought it, re-released it in what, 2000?
I don't know.
441.3 million. So they definitely made their money back on it.
Yeah,
I wonder if that's combined everything.
I don't know.
Could be.
No, it was the top horror movie of all time for a while.
Yep. Highest grossing R-rated horror film. And 2017's It. Top.
It beat it out.
Yep.
It sure did. I know the Joker is the top R-rated movie of all time, the original Joker, not that sequel that came out last year.
Okay.
So,
All right.
yeah, the It clown beat it out eventually.
All right. Why don't you go over the plot, Carl? If you haven't seen this movie and don't know the plot, then I guess
Well,
Carl's gonna
there might be a
explain.
lot of younger people who haven't watched the original Exorcist, honestly.
Maybe, yeah.
I mean, it's pretty dated, and it's more sort of a legend now than, it's become. I don't know what you would describe this as. It's like almost like the Bible of horror movies in many ways.
Well,
Movie starts.
a lot of people don't consider it a horror movie, even they
Well, I
consider
don't
it.
know that I consider it a horror movie if you want to get basic.
Yeah.
Um, I've blatted out a few weeks ago. I thought The Omen's scarier, so there you go. Um, I don't remember the first time I saw The Exorcist, but it was definitely way years later. I mean, I wasn't watching it at age 5 like you, but I just remember the first time I saw it, the beginning of it confused me and bored me as a kid. And we begin in, I think it's Iraq. They are digging at some kind of an archaeological dig, and in a nutshell, they come up with with this guy right here. Boom.
Yep.
Um,
Pazuzu.
Father Marin, who I guess he was sort of an archaeologist, priest, digging up for demonic ruins and found it. Just thought that was a weird way to begin the movie. And actually, William Peter Blatty did not want that in the movie. I think he wanted to start it out, right from the beginning with, Linda Blair and the mother. But Franken said, no, I want that in the movie. And he put it in there. And years later, watching it, it's great that it's in there because it builds up the Father Marin character a lot better, I think.
It's
I
just
don't know how the
just
hell the
creepy as shit, sorta.
yeah. I don't know. Are they trying to say that is the same demon that possessed her? Because it don't make a whole lot of sense.
Well, I don't know. Is Pazuzu supposed to be the devil?
I have no idea. I never did understand. I always thought Pazuzu possessed her, but they're digging him up in Iraq. So how in the hell would it have found her and possessed her?
I don't know.
So I don't know. I've always been confused about that. But that's how the movie starts, with the archaeological dig. And yeah, this dude's found right here. And it fast forwards to Georgetown, where we got I don't know what her name is. I've never known the mother's name. She's
Don't
an
worry about
actress.
it. I'll go through it when we go through the cast.
Okay, she's an actress, and she's in basically Washington D.C. filming a movie, and has her daughter Linda Blair there with her, and yeah, shit gets pretty ugly pretty quick, all because of a Ouija board supposedly, and Captain Howdy.
Captain
The,
Howdy.
the child's talking to Captain Howdy on a Ouija board and ends up getting possessed by something. We don't know exactly what, but it's a possession. And that's about all you can say. It just goes from there. And The Exorcist is a slow build.
Yeah.
It moves really slow, and the possession part doesn't really last that long. It don't appear. I always thought that she was possessed
Well,
longer.
it's drawn out throughout,
Yeah.
throughout.
Well, and it's a slow build to getting her fully possessed.
Yeah,
So it's definitely a slow build movie.
for sure.
But in the end, it does pay off. So that's about all I can synopsis of this thing without giving away any spoilers. If you have, and I'm thinking this is going to be a movie a lot of people may not have seen, especially the younger crowd.
Mhm.
They may have seen, some of the other Exorcists are in the TV show, but I don't know. I'd be curious to a poll of how many of the younger people have watched the original Exorcist.
That Exorcist TV show, the first season was really good, and then
It went to hell.
went to hell, man. So, all righty, let's go over the cast here. Pretty long cast. I'm not gonna read a bunch of
There is
them,
a lot of people in the movie. Yes.
because some of them, some of them I'll sort of get into when I go into the trivia with it. So, all right, first off, we got Ellen Burstyn as Chris McNeil. She's the mother. Next off, we got Max von Sydow as Father Lancaster Marin.
Absolutely phenomenal in that role, too.
Jason Miller as Father / Dr. Damien Karras. Lee J. Cobb as Lieutenant William F. Kinderman. And if you ever watch part 3, that's the guy that George C. Scott played.
Yeah, because he'd passed away.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're gonna replace him with George C. Scott. That's definitely a replacement there.
Next off, we got Kitty Wynn as Sharon Spencer, and she's like the mom's, like,
Maid,
no, she's not
sort
really
of
a
a
maid. She's like her personal
assistant.
assistant.
Yeah, like an assistant. Yeah, yeah. She had like a maid or a butler there too.
Maid and a butler. Yeah.
Yeah. So I got them
We'll get
confused.
to them here in a second. Jack McGowan as Burt Dennings, and he was like the director of the film that she was filming when she was there. So next off, we got Linda Blair as Regan MacNeil. Father William O'Malley as Father Joseph Dyer, and he was like also technical
Yeah, he's an actual
director.
priest.
Yeah.
Yep. That's pretty cool, I thought.
Barton Heyman as Dr. Samuel Klein. Peter Masterson as Dr. Berenger. Rudolph Schundler as Carl. That was
Rudolph
the maid.
Schenker
Carl with a
from
K.
Rudolph Schenker from the Scorpions is in
Rudolph
this?
Schundler. Rudolph Schundler.
Oh, okay.
And Gina Petrushka
Pettenschneider.
as Willie Engstrom. She was the maid. Robert Simmons as Dr. Taney. Arthur Storch as the psychiatrist, Father Thomas Birmingham as Father Tom Canavan, president of Georgetown University, Vasiliki Malaros as Mrs. Karras, Damien's mother. Damie, why,
Yes.
Damie? Why you do it to me, Damie?
Hmm.
Tito Vandis as John, Damien's uncle. Ron Faber as Chuck, and the voice of Pazuzu. Donna Mitchell as Mary Jo Perrin. Mercedes McCambridge as the voice of Pazuzu. Uncredited.
Uncredited.
William Peter Blatty, uncredited as part of From. Paul Bateson as Radiation's assistant. And I got some trivia about that guy too. Eleanor Blair as nurse, and Eileen Dietz as the face of Pazuzu, uncredited.
Now, isn't that more in the extended version?
Well, they showed that face in the original too.
Yeah.
Next we got, last but not least, we got Ann Miles as the Spider Walk girl, uncredited. And you could really tell that it wasn't
Linda Blair.
Linda Blair, especially if you pause it.
Yeah.
And that is the cast.
Well, here's an interesting note that you probably already know. William Peter Blatty wanted to play the role of the father in this thing. Yes, he wanted to be which the one, not the old father, the younger one. What's his name? I can't think of it.
Damien?
Yeah, Damien. He wanted to play Damien.
Oh yeah.
And Franken had to talk him out of it.
Huh. Well,
I don't know.
it sounds like he wanted to do a lot of stuff. I guess they butted heads.
They butted heads a lot, which is I think what led him to doing Exorcist 3 and directing it himself.
Well, I think it went over time and it went over budget too.
It did. But they definitely were at odds during this, and they were buddies. They were friends.
Yeah.
They just definitely had a different vision for the movie.
Well, he wanted it to be more like the book.
He did.
Blatty.
Sort of. Like I said, he didn't want the Iraq scene to start the movie.
But the Iraq scene started the book, so I don't know.
I know, and that's what they were arguing about.
Yeah.
So.
All right. I guess we can go over the.
I don't guess you ever read the novel, have you?
No, I haven't. I probably should. I'd like to get it on audio.
Get it on audiobook and listen to it. Yeah.
I'll have to do that.
I got my Ranger shirt on. It's almost baseball season here.
Almost. Isn't it spring training?
Yeah, it's just a few weeks away from opening day, though.
If they won any games,
I don't pay no attention to spring training. It don't mean much.
Yeah.
They're going to be good this year.
Let's hope.
So back to The Exorcist. Where are we going to next? You want to talk about these discs?
Yeah, we can talk about the discs. Let's go ahead.
I've probably owned The Exorcist probably 5 or 6 times now between videotape, DVD, Blu-ray, upgraded Blu-rays, box sets, and now a 4K. So what do you got over there you're wanting to show?
I got this at Walmart in the $5 bin a long time ago. It's just the plain Jane version of the extended cut with all the good extras on there, all the goodies.
All good extras.
But it's just plain Jane, you know.
Well, the only thing I've got left of them, I've got the box set, which has The Exorcist, both the director's cut and the original. The Exorcist 2, The Heretic. Exorcist 3, which was Legion. and it's got both of the prequels, and that's a whole show in itself talking about the two prequel movies. Um, Pretty good versions. Um, I kept it mainly because I don't think you can get the prequels any other way. Um, they eventually released part two and part three from the Screen Factory, and Warner Brothers put out this 4K. It's got both versions on it on 4K disc, but it has absolutely no bonus features. None whatsoever, which
Well,
pissed me off.
that's weird.
It does come with a digital copy.
How much more would it have taken to transfer?
I don't know, but there's no bonus features from anything. Maybe they figured if you're buying this, you probably already got like the box set or something. I don't know what they were thinking, but
Not even the trailers are on there. There ain't even the
the
trailers.
only thing on there is a commentary track. That's it. Nothing else. So a
I
lot of
was go-
people were bitching about that they feel like Warner kind of ripped them off. But I mean, in my case, I've got this twice. I've got these two twice. So, it don't matter to me. I've already got the extras if I really wanted to watch them. They never were that great anyway. There's not anything now. Um, you would have thought they could have done a little bit special for this. And there's also a lot of talk on this 4K that some of the digital effects kind of screwed up the movie a bit. A lot of people aren't real pleased with the transfer. So
really.
you might be better off just sticking with what you got there or getting this box set and don't even buy the 4K. I don't think it
I
was
just
worth the
wish this
money.
had the original theatrical release on it too. It's just
Well, I got the original on theatrical release on both of these, so I got it on Blu-ray and 4K. So you kind of got ripped on that one, I think. You only got the
$5 at Walmart. I might have
$5 at
this. I might
Walmart.
have the DVD of the original. I'm pretty sure I do.
I've sold all my DVDs at this point, but I'm gonna give this 4K not a very good grade. I don't even like the cover. Like that's just a dumb looking cover. I don't like it at all. Warner Brothers is getting pretty stupid now. This is, of course, is the classic, look here. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this box set, the complete anthology, is the way to go if you want these movies. Although most people don't like part two, and most people don't like the sequels. It's usually part one and part three. So you might just want to pick up that Scream Factory version of part three and get Brett's version on disc, and just leave it at that. I think we're going to cover part two in the prequels here in the future too. But I give the
Yeah.
box set 5-star rating. It's really good. This 4K I'm not real pleased with. So I would suggest the box set over the 4K. That's my opinion on the disc. Warner dropped the ball on this one.
Well, a lot of the actual studios, when they put out the stuff on new format, they don't add it. Seems like Scream Factory is the only one that does.
Well, maybe they think that if you're buying a 4K or something, you got to have the Blu-ray already. I don't know what they're thinking. I mean, honestly, I don't know why I'm complaining because I don't hardly ever watch the special features anyway, so I don't know what it pisses me off. But it did. If you're gonna pay $30 for something, at least everything should be there.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
So that's our disc grades. You pretty
Well,
happy with yours? You just
yeah, I'm
don't got
happy
the
with mine.
theatrical
Yeah,
cut.
it's a
I don't
good.
know that I'd ever watch the theatrical cut anymore. I've always watched the director's cut at this point.
Yeah,
That's probably why I don't remember what's not in it because I don't think I've watched the original in 20 years.
exactly. All
What
right.
about the soundtrack before you do trivia? You were talked a little bit about it.
Yeah, like we talked about
Not very
earlier.
memorable, but I don't think it needed a memorable soundtrack.
No, because there was a lot going
There was
on,
a lot going on. I think they did just fine on it. So I think that's a plus. I don't think they needed a
and it
bunch of
was it was
music.
more sounds than it was music anyway.
I think
A
it fit
lot
the
of it.
mood of the movie. I
Yeah,
think it was a good move and a smart move.
yeah.
So I have no complaints about the soundtrack myself.
Well, supposedly there was another one, and if you watch that documentary, that he fired the guy and got somebody else to do The
Yeah, we're
score
going to
on
talk
it.
about that documentary here at the end, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, go to next. What's
All
next?
right, I guess we'll go for the awards.
It was actually up for an Academy Award. I know that.
It was up for 10 of them
10 of them.
in
Jesus, hell.
1974.
Good God.
It was nominated for Best Picture, Best Actress in a Leading Role, Best Actor in a Supporting Role, Best Actress in a Supporting Role, Best Director. It won for Best Writing Screenplay based on material from another medium for
So
William
William
Peter
Peter Blatty
Blatty.
got him an Academy Award out of this thing.
Yeah. Nominated for Best Cinematography, which was, I don't know why they didn't win.
I don't know. I didn't win either.
Best Art Direction, Set Direction. They built that whole fucking house,
I
dude.
remember that. Yeah.
They built that a 3-story house. So that house you see on the outside that's on the edge of the hill, I guess them rooms in it was really tiny. They couldn't film in it. There wouldn't be no way they could do the lighting. So it was all built on a sound stage in New York City. Uh Best art direction it was nominated for. It won for best sound for Robert Knudsen and Christopher Newman, and nominated for best film editing. So it won 2 out of the 10. You know what won everything else that year?
What?
Godfather 2.
Well, I could see that. Yeah. A lot of people think Godfather 2 is the best sequel ever made. So,
Yeah. It won almost everything that year.
yeah, some years that happens. You get a good movie and you go up against, like the year Forrest Gump won everything. There was some movie that I really liked and it got nominated but didn't win nothing.
But for the Golden Globes for 1974, it won Best Motion Picture of the Year for a drama. Lindablair won a Golden Globe for Best Supporting Actress. Was nominated for Most Promising Newcomer, female Lindablair, so she had a chance to win 2. One for Best Screenplay for William Peter Blatty. Nominated for Best Actress for Ellen Burstyn. One Best Director, William Friedkin. And Max von Sydow was nominated for Best Supporting Actor. And there's a bunch of little piddly ass awards. I'm not even gonna. Most of them are for the uh, multimedia releases and shit for like best DVD package and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
nobody gives a shit about that.
So anyway, yeah.
They've been putting them out for years, and I've
So
already told you this is the way to go. Is this box right here? I think
yeah.
if you got the YouTube, you can see it. If you're listening on that Spreaker, then I guess you're not seeing it.
Listening
Y'all have
on
had hell with that fucking thing.
huh?
Y'all have had hell with that Spreaker. It wasn't
I
update.
haven't since I've got it, since I know what I'm
Well, I
doing
mean,
now.
I'm just saying that Tim and you were having to fix the Hillbilly Horror Story. I didn't even notice that it wasn't updating to Apple because I listen on that Spreaker app to everything now.
Yeah, it wasn't on Apple. It wasn't getting the new episodes, and it wasn't on Spotify either.
Oh shit, that's bad.
Yeah, I know. The new episodes weren't coming on, and
Yeah, I've been listening to the new episodes, but I use that. I like that Spreaker app. It works in the car real good.
well,
So
good.
no complaints from me on the changeover. I
So
think it works just fine.
the only thing I don't like about it is the Spreaker don't put out to as other many platforms as what our other service did.
Yeah, I don't know how many different things people listen with. I mean,
A
I
lot,
figure,
especially like the overseas people, because
yeah, that makes sense.
a lot of them can't get uh Apple Music or
Or
Spotify.
Spotify. See, I think that's true. I just think Apple and Spotify are the top dogs, mainly because they are with music. But podcast wise, I don't know, man. I think
Yeah.
that Spreaker app's the way to go myself at this point. Although it's on iHeartRadio too. I used to listen on that before we even I think iHeart runs the Spreaker, but
Yeah, yeah. So yeah. really our numbers on the podcast side haven't changed at all. And as we all know on the YouTube, that's fucking hit and miss. So,
Yeah, I think the Randy Rhodes got 700 views.
oh, did it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to put. We're pushing 500,000, dude.
I know. And Jeremy and Maddie were here last night, and I told him, I said, Jeremy, one of our top videos, you're in it. And I played
Uh,
it to him, and he was like, oh, crap, that's embarrassing.
he was drunk as shit that night, boy.
I said, that's like our second top video ever viewed besides the clowns. That and that
Uh,
Brides of Dracula.
yeah. Oh, and the
The
biggest
clowns.
one, the biggest one is the clowns.
Yeah. All right, back to The
It's
Exorcist.
got like 300,000 views itself.
Back to The Exorcist.
Back to The Exorcist. Okay, I guess we'll go into trivia, and there's a lot of cool trivia about this movie. All
I know
right.
one was the Damien character. They originally had hired somebody else, and he had to fire.
We'll get into that. We'll get
Okay.
into that.
That's one of my favorite stories. Originally, like I said, William Peter Blatty wanted to play the Damien character. I didn't know he was an actor, but I guess he wanted to be.
Well, he did his cameo, so he was in the movie at least. At around 1 hour and 20 minutes, when Regan projectile vomits at fatherkarras, the vomit was intended to hit Jason Miller in the chest, but the plastic tubing misfired, hitting him in the face. The reaction of shock and disgust while wiping away the vomit is genuine. And Miller admitted in interviews that he was very angered by the mistake. Well, hey, buddy, it's your first movie.
Yeah, you got somebody else fired, Stacy Keach, I believe, to
Yep,
take the
Stacy
role.
Keach.
So you
And
need to
somebody
just,
else was going to be in it too. They wanted originally before even
besides
Stacy.
Blatty,
Yeah. So,
everybody wanted that role.
Jason Miller had a very major verbal confrontation with William Friedkin after the director fired a shotgun near his ear to get an authentic reaction from him. He told Friedkin that he was an actor and he didn't need a gun to act surprised. You know what scene that is, right?
I do.
When he's sitting in the in his little room listening to the audio tape of Reagan doing her backwards mask.
Doing the backward. Yeah, they said, yeah, she's speaking English, but it's backwards.
Well, in the movie,
Yeah.
then the phone rings, but
That was the shotgun.
that was actually a shotgun getting shot off. On the first day of rehearsing the exorcism sequence, Linda Blair's delivery of her foul-mouthed dialogue was so disturbing that gentleman Max von Sydow had that he actually forgot his lines. I heard he had trouble with his lines a lot during that scene because he was an atheist, and it was going against sort of like going against his beliefs. What he was doing. So
Okay.
he should have what he was saying actually. So
Well, it's acting like the other dude said. I mean, God.
yeah, but yeah, he had a hard time getting some lines out.
That's just weird.
Due to death threats against Linda Blair from religious zealots who believe the film glorified Satan, Warner Brothers had bodyguards protecting her for 6 months after the film's release. That's crazy, dude. See, there was fucking nutballs way back fucking then too. There's
There were
always
probably
been
worse nutballs way back then. You posted that thing on the group about the satanic, and God, that was the 80s for sure. So the 70s was worse. So I could see that. Remember, they was going after Kiss and the Black Sabbath and I guess the Exorcist.
Yeah. According to director William Friedkin, the subliminal shots of the white-faced demon are actually rejected makeup tests for Reagan's possessed appearance. So them were like going to be the original what she was supposed to look like.
That would have looked kind of silly.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it would have. The original teaser trailer, which consisted of nearly nothing but images of the white-faced demon quickly flashing in and out of the darkness, was banned in many theaters because it was deemed too frightening and making people throw up because of the flashing lights.
What would those people have done if they saw The Walking Dead back then? Just died?
I don't, I don't know.
And this was on cable TV.
Oh shit. Oh, here we go. Studio wanted Marlon Brando for the role of Father
That's
Karras.
right. I do remember that.
Or Father Marin, either or. They wanted
I wouldn't have
Brando in
wanted
there.
Brando anywhere near a movie if it were me.
And Friedkin immediately shut it down,
I don't blame him.
saying that he didn't want it to be just a quote Brando movie. He wanted it to be his own, you know.
That would have been terrible.
Yeah, it would have. When originally released in the UK, the number of town councils imposed a complete ban on the showing of the film. This led to the bizarre spectacle of the Exorcist bus trips, where enterprising travel companies organized buses to take groups to the nearest town where the film was showing. That's sort of cool. That's
I
funny as
guess,
shit.
yeah.
Get on a bus, go watch The Exorcist.
Yeah,
Wonder if they had the lines over there like they did here.
I'm sure they did. I mean,
Actress Mercedes McCambridge, who provided the voice of the demon, insisted on swallowing raw eggs, chain smoking, and doing shots of Jack Daniels to alter her vocalizations. The actress, who had had problems with alcohol abuse in the past, furthermore wanted to drink whiskey, as she knew alcohol would distort her voice even more and create a crazed state of mind for the character. As she was giving up sobriety, she insisted that her priest be present to counsel her during the recording process. At Friedkin's direction, McCambridge was also bound to a chair with pieces of torn sheet at the neck, arms, wrists, legs, and feet to get a more realistic sound of the demon struggling against its restraints. McCambridge later recalled the experience as one of horrific rage, while Friedkin admitted that her performance, as well as the extremes which the actress put herself through to gain authenticity, terrified him. So she
okay.
might as well have been possessed sitting there.
Guess so. I look red as shit. I guess I'm sunburned. Or I look like a
Sort of
old
hot
alcohol.
today, man.
Look like an old alcoholic with a red nose.
Well, it ain't greasy and pimply, so
Yeah.
you're good. Like the highest grossing Warner Brothers film of all time when adjusted for inflation. Wow. That's crazy. Jack Nicholson was also up for the part of Father Karras before Jason Miller landed the role.
Let's talk about how Jason Miller landed the role. Jack Nicholson, he would have been terrible. And I'm glad these guys didn't get the roles. Jack Nicholson and Marlon Brando, God.
Well, I guess we can talk about how he got the role.
I want to talk about that because I think that's one of the best stories of the whole thing.
All right. Well, you go, boy, and I'll chime in.
You got your trivia there.
Well, I thought you wanted to talk about it.
I do. Read it. We'll talk about it.
I'm not. I'm talking about. I'm just going to go off what I got off the.
Oh, Jesus, Brett. You ruined it all now.
Off the
Oh, come
documentary.
On, dude. Okay, then never mind.
Well, he said he called Friedkin. Friedkin had seen one of his a play that he had done in New York, and they went backstage and talked and stuff and told him, "Oh, I like your play or whatever." And he knew that he was doing The Exorcist, and he was like, went and read the book, and then he was like, called Friedkin up and said, I'm this guy, this is me, and that's how he ended up getting the part. They ended up firing Stacy Keach.
That's the funniest thing ever. Made me snort. I just thought
they had to pay him off, though. They had to pay him his full salary. Stacy Keach.
He wasn't complaining.
No, he wasn't. I wished he would have rather been in the film, though. So, yeah,
maybe.
And the Warner Brothers gave him shit. Like, why are you wanting to do this, man? He's just like, I got this feeling. I just want him in the movie.
Well, it was the best decision of the movie, in my opinion.
Yep, exactly. He did a great part in it, for sure.
Maybe one of the most legendary parts ever, in my opinion.
For a first role?
Yeah.
Especially, All right, back on to trivia. Upon its initial theatrical release, the film affected many audiences so strongly that at many theaters, paramedics were called to treat people who had fainted and others who went into hysterics.
How and why?
I don't know. I heard couple of the scenes when she's in the hospital really set a lot of people off. When she's getting the spinal tap done and all that.
I don't know.
Because that was pretty realistic,
I don't know.
All right, let's see here. If adjusted for inflation, this would be the highest grossing R-rated film of all time. According to the MPAA.
Well, I think if you adjust for inflation, Gone with the Wind's still the top movie of all time.
All right, at an hour and 30 minutes into the film, the scene where Father Marin steps out of the cab and stands in the front of the MacNeil residence bathed in an eerie glow was inspired by the 1953-54 series of paintings Empire of Light by Rene Magritte. I guess he's a French artist. That was in the what do you call it, too? The documentary that you fell asleep through.
Twice.
The agency representing lindablair overbooked her, recommending that at least 30 other clients for the part of Regan. Blair's mother brought her to the tryout for the role herself, and she ended up getting it. 1985, when Joel Schumacher was filming the movie St. Elmo's Fire at Georgetown and attempted to get permission from the Jesuit priest faculty at the school for the film there, he was rejected. Schumacher complained to the faculty, "You let Bill Friedkin film The Exorcist there in 1973, and one of the characters in that movie said, 'Your mother sucks cocks in hell.'"
Yeah.
And one of the Jesuit priests answered, "Yes, but the devil didn't win in their movie." So there you go.
Okay, I guess. I think the devil did win in that movie, in my opinion.
In a way, yeah, sort of. Friedkin had to take an all-British crew to film in Iraq because the U.S. had no diplomatic relations with Iraq at that time. They were allowed to film near ancient buildings and actual archaeological digs on conditions that included teaching Iraqi filmmaker advanced film techniques as well as how to make fake blood. What a trade. That's sort of cool, though. In order to make Max von Sydow appear much older than his age of 44 at the time, makeup artist Dick Smith applied generous amounts of stipple to von Sydow's forehead, eyes, and neck. His facial skin was then manually stretched as liquid latex applied. When the latex dried, it taut his skin and released, causing the film of rubber to corrugate. That's what gave him the turkey neck.
I was wondering because I'm like, this guy was, looked a lot. I mean, he's been around a long time if he's this old in this movie. So they did a good job. They had me believing it.
Yeah, he did. That made him probably look 30 years older for
Yeah.
sure. The daily makeup procedure lasted 3 hours and apparently the cause of much anguish for him. That gets sticky, man, when you get sitting there getting that. You got to put it on, layer it, put it on, let some dry, put some more on. Yeah, it's
You got your cool Moxley Manor shirt on. I never did get one.
yeah, I like it. At around 1 hour, extended version only, the contortionist Ann Miles was hired to perform the famous spider walk scene, which was filmed in November 1972. She was able to perform the scene by use of a harness and flying wires hung above the staircase used on the set. She would advise director Friedkin when she was just barely touching the stairs with her hands and feet, and then she maintained that light touch as she was moved down the staircase by the harness and wires. Friedkin deleted the scene before the film's December release. He felt it was too much of an effect because it appeared so early in the film, and also you could see the wires, and there wasn't no way to
Get rid of them.
get rid of them. But he decided to take them out when he did the release in 2000 and put the scene back in, which was made Blatty very happy. Mercedes McCambridge had to sue Warner Brothers for credit as the voice of the demon. Friedkin said that she originally didn't want a credit, saying that she wanted the audience to believe the voice was Regan's. However, after it was released, she changed her mind and was given the credit. Hell yeah, she was
After
seeing as
making all that money, yeah.
Hell yeah, she wanted the credit. I guess there was something to do with the Oscar too with that, because Linda Blair was getting nominated for the character when she didn't do the actual voice of the demon. I guess there were some people bitching about that.
The Millie Vanilli situation, I guess.
Yeah. Let's see here. At around an hour and 13 minutes, Ellen Burstyn received a permanent spinal injury during filming. The sequence where she's thrown away from her possessed daughter and a harness jerked her hard away from the bed. She fractured her coccyx and screamed in pain. This was the footage used in the film, so she actually got hurt. Well, they showed them on the special on the features, dude. They had 3 guys back there moving shit around, moving that bed around.
I would say something, but I've learned not to interfere with your trivia after that last story.
Well, go ahead.
No, no, no.
Are you waiting?
I ain't messing with your trivia no more. You get violent. I interfere with your schedule, you get violent on me.
The vomit Regan hurls at fatherkarras is thick pea soup, specifically the Anderson's brand. They tried Campbell's, but they didn't like the effect of it. Let's see here. Author William Peter Blatty once won $10,000 on the Groucho Marx show You Bet Your Life. When Groucho asked what he planned to do with the money, he said he planned to take some of it and work on a novel. And that's when he wrote The Exorcist. And Groucho's mentioned in the film by Lieutenant Kinderman in jest as playing Othello. All right. Man, there's a lot of shit here.
I was gonna say we're getting going kind of long, ain't we?
Let me try to find some of the we've talked about a bunch. I guess we'll go ahead and talk about the what do you call it? The documentary. There's like three of them, but some of them, a couple of them are sort of dumb.
Boy, hit the documentary real quick. Um, like I said, it's basically just him talking about directing the movie and his other movies, A French Connection, and that's all it is. It's just a lot of talking that I think most of the stuff he said I already knew. I just
Yeah.
found it a little dry and boring.
I actually really liked it.
Yeah, you've told me that you've watched it several times.
Yeah.
I
Just
think everything he said I already knew, so I
just
didn't
about the
really
way
get.
he got the ideas for stuff and stuff like that. I'm
I've
sweating.
probably seen that on the audio commentary when I used to watch those all the time.
Yeah,
You'd think I'd
sometimes them
watch
are
them.
good. I didn't watch the audio commentary on this. I
You
bet
would
it's
think now that I'm
good.
doing a podcast about movies, I'd watch them more again, but
Yeah, no
I've already
shit.
seen them, and I think I retain a lot of that information.
Yep.
I mean, most of the movies we do, I've been watching for 40 years.
I know, right? Well, you got anything else?
I do. Let's talk about The Curse of the Exorcist. Is this
All
a
right.
cursed film? Yes or no?
Uh,
I'm gonna
yeah,
say,
a lot of stuff happened with the people getting hurt and stuff
yeah,
like that. And what was it? The one guy, the
they had a death.
assistant, the medical assistant, when she was getting her spinal tap or whatever that was in that, he ended up murdering somebody or some shit.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So
I think it's just a coincidence, all of it
yeah,
myself.
it's a coinkydink for sure.
I don't think this movie is cursed. That is my view on that one.
No,
So we
I
could
don't.
probably do a good 10 minutes on the curse of the exorcist, but let's just skip that. So my experiment, how did a 10-year-old react in 2025 to The Exorcist, which is supposed to be the scariest, most evil movie ever? She went to sleep and slept through most of it. She did. It think it was just it the movie moves really slow in the beginning, as you know.
Yeah,
It's a slow build.
Yep, yep. I
And
could, I could see her falling asleep in it for sure.
well, she finally woke up and looked
Yeah,
up and she's
you
like,
texted me and said Reagan screamed. She woke up.
yeah. And she's like, what in the heck is going on? And I'm like, she's possessed by the devil. And she watched the last however bit of it. And I asked her, I said, so do you think this was the scariest movie you ever seen? And she said, yes, it is. She said, that was scary as heck. I said, scarier than your paranormal activity? She said, yeah, this movie was scary. And she said she wanted to watch part three because I told her part three was even scarier, in my opinion. So
Yeah, it is. It is.
for a kid who's seen several horror movies and not really scared of much, she actually thought it was very scary. So it holds
Well,
up.
and in a way, if there wasn't no Exorcist, there probably wouldn't be no paranormal activity.
There wouldn't be any of that.
So
So I can report that yes, this movie still holds up as scary factor to the youth.
to the Ute.
Yep. He liked it. I said, well, what do you rate it on a scale of 1 to 5? And she wanted to give it a 10. I'm like, no, 1 to 5. So she said 5 then. It's what little she saw of it. She saw the good parts. So there you go.
Yeah, the end is sort of the best.
It is. So that
All right. So, what's your thoughts on this masterpiece?
I'm with like somebody said, I don't really know that this is a horror movie. It's more of a psychological drama, in my opinion.
It's like a supernatural
Supernatural,
thriller,
yeah.
more
Yeah.
of a thriller. Yeah.
I don't find The Exorcist scary. I never have. And again, when I first saw it, I remember my mom talking about The Exorcist when I was a kid. When I started getting into horror movies, she said, "Oh, that's Exorcist is the worst movie ever." When I finally saw it, I was actually a little disappointed, honestly, back whenever that was, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, I don't know when. Um, but I think as I got older, I started appreciating the slower moments of the movie, the build up, like the Exorcist, the Exorcist being in Iraq and was that I forget his name already.
On Saito.
Yeah. Um, and the whole Pazio statue, I think that's all makes the movie. The Captain Howdy talking to the Ouija board, that makes the movie. So I think the slow build up is worth it. And I think it's needed for a movie like this. Um, is it scary? I don't find it scary. I never have. It's creepy. It's unsettling, but I just I just don't think I would ever have found it scary, even if I'd have been around in 75 to see it in the theaters or whenever it came out. 74, right?
Yeah, 73 actually.
Well, shit. I would have been 3 years old, 2 years old, something. But I find this more of a, instead of a scary, scary movie, I find it more just, it's just amazing, really. It's an amazing movie. Um, I think Friedkin, that documentary, like I said, I already knew most of it, but it just holds up really well. It's not dated at all. And I still say The Omen's scarier, and I still say The Exorcist 3 is scarier, but they don't have to be scary to be good. And this is a classic, and it invented a whole genre of movies, like you said. There wouldn't have been all these other supernatural, demonic movies without The Exorcist. Um,
Like,
I don't know that I can find a flaw in this movie. Really, the acting is phenomenal. The special effects are great. I don't know. This is pretty much a flawless movie in my opinion. I have to give it a 5, straight up.
okay.
I think, although I do enjoy part 3 more, but I don't think part 3 is a better movie, if that makes any sense whatsoever. I enjoy part. If I had to pick one, I would watch part 3. But movie wise, this is by far the best.
Gotcha. All right.
Definitely a top 10 of all time.
Well, I was just gonna say it's top 5 for me.
Yeah, I don't know where I would put it of all time,
It's definitely
but
top 5 for
it would be in
sure.
my top 10. Yes. I
Uh,
don't know what would be better than it. Maybe The
uh,
Omen. I don't know. I like The Omen, dude.
I do too. But yeah, this just from the time this came out, it sort of sucked that it took what 12, 13 years for it to come out on video,
Probably.
you know.
I don't know how old I was when I finally got to see it, but
Well, I don't think it came out on video till like 82 or 83,
yeah,
maybe 81. I don't know, but it's one of the only VHS cassettes that I ever bought. Mostly I just taped shit, you know, or rented it. A lot of time at the VHS rental store for
a lot
sure.
of VHSs weren't available to buy in those days. You could only rent them.
Yeah,
They were like $100 if you tried to buy it or some crap.
yeah. But yeah, this movie, the cinematography in this movie is so on point, man. Just some of the angles they had to get these shots that they had to, you know,
That's what I'm saying. It makes it such a classic. Is just the cinematography,
the
the
practical
sound,
effects.
the effects.
The practical effects were when you see on these special features how they do that, showing them do that stuff. It's like, how the hell did they think of that? You know, it's like that's some cool shit. They had some smart motherfuckers working on that. You know, so
And all these movies that have come after The Exorcist, none of them have been able to repeat it.
no,
They've all they've all tried, but none of them have succeeded. That's why I like that damn Exorcist 3, because it's totally different in every sort of way. It's not a rehash. It's totally different. Blatty did a good job with that one. I know we've covered it already, but I got to praise that movie even while we're doing this one.
yeah, it's way more freakier for sure.
Well, it's scary as shit. Yeah.
Uh, but Friedkin did an awesome job directing this movie, man. Just all of his nitpicking and all that really paid off, I think. Um, he's one of my favorite directors of all time, too. Uh, French
Yeah.
Connection is actually a awesome movie, too. And he did win the best director for that. So, uh, But yeah, like I said, top 5 for me. Ain't nothing I can say bad about it.
No, there really isn't.
Everybody did a great job. It, you know, it's a 5 for me too, for sure. If we did go 10, it would be a 10.
Yeah. Scarlett wanted to give it a 10.
So yeah, it just holds up,
It still it does. Then you had the
I
part two.
probably watch it at least once a year.
Well, then you had the part two, those prequels that flopped, the freaking stupid movie they did last year. It's just nothing. Part one and part three are really all you need. They've never been able to repeat the success of this.
No, I don't think I've watched them 2 other sequels. What is it?
Dominion and the Exorcist the beginning.
Yeah, I don't think I've watched them all the way through actually. So when we review them, that'll give me a good chance to watch them, I guess.
We need to do that, I think.
But
They're both
I actually
boring as
like
fuck.
2. I actually like 2. A lot of a lot of cool movies came out that year. I think it was 1976 or 77. A lot of good horror movies came out that year. Them couple of years there that I'm big fans of. So, but all right, you got anything else about The
No,
Exorcist, Carl?
I'm bored with it all now.
Bored with it all? All
Next
right,
week will be an evil talk live.
okay.
Get Greg ready.
I'll text him after we get off here, I guess. All right. Well, that's all we got for The Exorcist. Thanks for watching and listening, and check us out on all the social medias. And that's about it. So stay evil, everybody.